Hello, it's Sean Bishop, Director of Bishop Instruments and Bows here in London. This is what's new in October. I've already done this video a couple of days ago, but it didn't work. So I'm doing it again. Maybe it was fantastic the other day. We'll see what happens today. I've just come back from Cremona, Mondo Musica, which is where all the violin dealers, makers, everything like that from around the world will meet up and sell stuff, buy stuff, talk, see a million violins. I don't know how many I saw. I was there for 3 days. I must have seen 500 violins, 600. There's a lot of violins. Yeah. And I bought quite a few things, okay? I also have a sip of coffee. It's now the afternoon, actually, so it should be illegal having a cappuccino, but comme ci, comme ça. Plus, we're not in Italy. We had great coffee in Italy. Oh, gee, though. Everywhere you went was good. I know it's a sort of well, we all expect that, don't we? Anyway, let's get back into music. What I was going to say is I went to Cremona, and one thing I did pick up when I came back was COVID. So I arrived, and I started not feeling very well, and then I've basically had over a week off, and I'm still a bit croaky, but I'm feeling good, but I'm just a bit, you can hear my voice. Right, we've got a bit of everything here for you. I've just got a mixture of stuff that I've bought back with me. A lot of stuff that's still coming, flying back. We brought 4 violins, 2 violas with ourselves, about 11 bows, but I had another couple of violins in Cremona, another viola, another violin in Paris. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's floating around. Hopefully it'll come back soon. Right, where should we talk? Bows first? Yeah, let's do bows quickly. A beautiful EA Ouchard. I bought this. I couldn't say no, and I got off an old friend of mine who works in Germany. I used to have a shop in Cologne, and this fellow has a shop in Cologne, and I've always enjoyed his humour. A nice guy. This is an EA Ouchard, Emile Auguste Ouchard, who is the great maker of the family, and this is made for Fatigue. So it's stamped Victor Fatigue, but made by EA Ouchard. Now I think I might have mentioned previously, I've got an exposition bow, exactly the same situation. Stamped Fatigue, made by Ouchard. An Ouchard is a better maker than Fatigue. Fatigue is great, don't get me wrong, I like them. And I have a lot of them, I've got about 5 or 6. But Ouchard is the closest in a way to Sartre. I personally find them more enjoyable than a Sartre. I can just feel a lot more personality in it. And he didn't produce anywhere near what Sartre did. So this is a beautiful bow, EA Ouchard, and I think now I might have 7 or 8 of these in my for sale box. So if you like EA Ouchard, come and have a try. Then I bought, funny enough, I was trying violas at a violin maker's atelier. They don't say that, do they, in Italy? What do they say? Luthier, I don't know, who knows? And they had a beautiful Tubbs bow. And of course I ended up buying the bow. It's a beautiful bow, wrong button, which luckily I knew. And I had a copy button available actually in my shop, so I whacked that in. This was made in circa 1860, so it's stamped W.E. Hill. Not to be confused with W.E. Hill & Sons. I am sick to death of people saying, made for the firm W.E. Hill & Sons. That is just not true. It was made for William Ebsworth Hill, who was the founder of the firm. But the firm wasn't started in 1860. It was just him by himself. You know, of course, their family members lurking because they were around for quite a while before that. So, and even on the certificate, Pierre Guillaume's certificate, he says W.E. Hill & Sons. Well, it's just not correct. So yeah, made for William Ebsworth Hill, W.E. Hill. And usually Tubbs, when he got these back for rehairs, would stamp them over the top of the W.E. Hill with Jace Tubbs, because Hill won some awards at one of the London festivals with a Tubbs bow, so Tubbs got a bit pissed off. But it's a really beautiful bow, really great wood, highly flamed. And like I said, for a mid-19th century bow, these are the bargains. The Tubbs viola bows particularly, they have a special sound, and this one really does. So I got that. I also picked up a Louis Gillet, who is also a maker I enjoy getting because they really work. And they're like a Sartre, but as I keep saying, half the price. So this was made because Gillet worked for Sartre for 10 years. I think married Sartre's daughter or something along those lines. This one's stamped Dupuis, a pari. So Dupuis was the violin maker who Gillet made bows for. Maybe it was Dupuis, he married Dupuis' daughter. I don't know. I should really look these things up, shouldn't I? I know they're related. All the French bow makers are so related. You know, they all trained in Mirecourt. They all knew each other. They're all making bows for each other. Could you imagine that now? Some great living maker making bows for somebody else? It just wouldn't happen. Well, I know a couple. We won't go into that. Louis Gillet Viola bow circa 1950. Very nice bow. Great wood. You don't see, often they're a bit boring, the wood, but this is top-notch Viola bow material. Right, instruments. I've got just a selection of actually the fully antiqued and the non-antiqued. I should have had one more viola. We'd be here for hours if I brought out another viola. Let's just start off with Luiz Amorim. I've got a very nice Andre Guarneri, the Primrose Andre Guarneri copy, and this is my 4th one I've had from them. And I tell you what, they sound good. I've sold 2 of the violas to a violist in the London Symphony Orchestra, the principal viola of the Sydney Symphony, previously the London Philharmonic, Richard Waters. I sold another one to a collector, a very fine amateur player, and they just work. I mean, this is absolutely the bee's knees for a viola sound. And I've played all the modern contemporary makers in the world, all the big names, and I think this is equal to any of them, without a shadow of a doubt. Let's have a quick go. This is the Luiz Amorim. Sorry, there's no rosin on that bow. I'll try a different one. That is impressive, I have to say. I really do like that. I'll just hand that over to my assistant to make way a bit of room. Right, a contemporary violin that, let's read this one first. Sorry, bumping the microphone. One of my favorite makers, who I've talked about previously many times, is Alessandro Tossani. And we visited his workshop when we first arrived, and I bought this violin within about 1 minute. Well, as soon as I saw it, I was like, well, it's a no-brainer, I have to have it. And that's always been the philosophy of my violin dealing over the years. If I love it, someone else will one day. That's how I see it. And if they don't, I don't mind, because I like having these things that I like in my shop. I like seeing good violins. And this is just beautiful. Non-antiqued, maybe you could say 2%. Okay, so he just softens the edge a little bit of craquelé around the corners and the back. But it is stunning. This is Del Gesù F holes. He told me this is one of the first he's ever done of the Paganini, Il Canone. But of course he has his own scroll. That's a Tossani scroll, slightly inspired by Stradivari, of course. But just so neat, perfect, beautiful. And what I like about this violin, and particularly being non-antiqued, and like I said, don't get me wrong, I like both. I do like both. But the non-antique one, what I love about this is it's pure Italian. I just look at it, it's Italy. I can see the reference points in the making of the violin, where it comes from. And for me, that's what I look for. You know, you look for personality. And part of violin making history is where the instrument is from, in Italy. And they're all different schools, Milan, Cremona, Brescia, all those styles. And that sort of disappears now. But Tossani, who I think is one of the very great makers living, you can tell this is an Italian violin. Okay, I just love it. I'll give it a quick play. I think I was going to change strings on these things, but anyway, this is. There we go, a few notes. My previous one that I sold from Tossani, the owner is so happy. He texts me practically every week talking about it. Anyway, if you want to come and try a modern violin that's just beautiful, this is one to try. Right, I'll pass it there. Another maker that I really like, who does a semi. Well, this one is probably 80%, 85% antiqued, maybe 90. Is P.Farias. He's a maker working in the heart of Cremona. I've bought many instruments from him and many violas. I personally have a viola of his at home, which I play on. And this one is a Guarneri copy. What I love is that varnish colour. That is just stunning. The beautiful sort of golden brown. In a way, to me, it reminds me of one of the sort of 1750s Guad Milanese colour, which I just love. You know, it's so beautiful. So, of course, when I saw that, I was like, oh, give it to me. Yeah, nice violin. I'll play a few notes. Nice and open. That's all the, so I'll hand it over. That's all in terms of the modern violins I'm showing today. Like I said, I bought a number of violins that are floating around. One I've already given out on trial to a friend, and a couple I've got to get back, but that's fine. Right, now we're going to talk about two violins that are antique, and they're right interesting. So what we have here is a violin with the stamp AR on the back, and for anyone that knows, that would be Romeo Antoniazzi. Now, before we get too excited, so the Milanese schools. Remember, I've talked about the Milanese schools. We have the Biziac family. We have the Antoniazzi family. So the father of the Antoniazzi school was Gaetano, ultimately Gaetano, and his two sons, Riccardo and Romeo. And this one is stamped Romeo. It comes with a certificate from the Biziac brothers, but actually it's not made by Romeo Antoniazzi. Even though it has a proper label, it's stamped, it's got all the bits and bobs. This is made by Piero Paraviccini, who worked for them. And that's quite obvious when you've seen lots of Paraviccinis, which I have seen a lot and I've bought a lot. And he's a maker I really love. Interesting maker too, because I have some of his stuff from the 1950s, so that's not that long ago. So this is like 1920s. Very pretty violin in mint condition. It's just a lovely thing to see. And it also comes with a Leandro Biziac certificate saying made by Romeo and his assistant, I think, or something like that. You know, it's quite bizarre. And what I'm going to talk about next time is I have another one. I found another one which is also labelled Romeo, and with certificates from some people, big people, saying, "Oh, it's Romeo and Riccardo working together." But no, it's Piero Paraviccini. And as soon as I put them together, I looked at the corners. Yeah, definitely. So there you go. And so they're a little bit cheaper than a Romeo Antoniazzi. Go figure, you know. The next one I have is a Romeo Antoniazzi. Here we have. So this is 1912. This is a Romeo Antoniazzi in mint condition, one-piece back. And yeah, very, very pretty violin. I just love this one. This one needs to be set up. The other one, it's already been set up by my assistant, Andrea Ortona. So it's punchy, big sound. I won't bother playing it. You've heard me bash away on violins. But yeah, the Romeo Antoniazzi, very nice. A nice thing to have. I've got a viola as well by Romeo. And I've got another Romeo Antoniazzi violin that's a collaboration with Rovescali. That's quite a rare violin, very late in Romeo's life. But this is a typical example which will eventually be on our website once we get our act together. Anyway, I've got some great stuff from Cremona, and I will be talking about a little bit more later on, maybe next month, about other stuff that I've got. So anyone that I didn't mention, makers, I love all your work, you know. Well, I saw a very nice, well, I'm going to be getting a very nice Akop Azoyan, the silver medal winner at the VSA, the highest ranked maker at the last comp. I saw 3 of his violins that were just phenomenal, and I played them as well, and I've taken them all, but they already had homes to go to. So I think we get one in a couple of months, so that'll be nice to have. Anyway, old, new, antiqued, not antiqued, violin bows, viola bows. That's what I've got. Ciao.